What's up, ALFALAND? I'm sitting here with Dean, the Boogeyman Lister. Welcome to the show, Dean.
Good to be here, brother. Thank you for having me. Appreciate
How
it.
are you?
I'm doing okay. A little tired.
Did you stay awake for the UFC last night?
I saw part of the UFC, but I must say I'm very happy. I left sunny California with girls in bikinis walking around on the beach to come here. It's better, right?
I was just about to say we're in Tampere. We're in Wolf Fitness Club, Tampere.
Yeah.
But Tampere is a lot like San Diego, isn't it? With the beach and the beautiful
beach,
girls,
it's
the sun.
the sun and yeah. You know what?
It's
I'm
just
glad,
the same.
I'm glad I got away from that environment.
Exactly.
It's not good, you know?
Yeah. It's a distraction.
Yeah, but it could be a good distraction sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
Or it could be bad, yeah, of course. Absolutely.
Don't get me into trouble. My wife is here.
Oh, no. I promise.
Yeah.
Secret.
Yeah, I know. Hey, did you see the Finns fight last night?
I saw the first one.
And
It was a fast knockout.
Yeah.
And this happens, of course. It's an interesting thing. I fight, of course, in UFC. And it's weird. You can make one mistake, and there's like 100 ways to lose, you know?
I know.
mean, with the arm lock, choke, leg lock, from a fist, from a hook, from a kick, from a knee, from an elbow, you could fall on your head and lose, you know? So it happens. So who knows? It seemed like the kid has talent. The second one,
he's very talented.
I think he's Kurdish, Finnish.
Yeah,
I think so.
Kurdish, Finnish.
Good wrestler.
Yeah.
I think he was winning until the last round, and it just happens. And this is actually, it's for the young fighters. It's hard to understand. Like, okay, I lost the fight, but it's okay. When you're older, you understand it's not really a big deal. You learn from this and become better and stronger.
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of people called me this morning that what happened to Teemu last night in Teemu Pakkalen, the guy who got knocked out.
Oh yeah.
And I told them that, you know, it's so different than in any other sport.
Yeah.
Because the luck component there is a little bit bigger. I'm not gonna say he got lucky with the punch that ADCC.
Maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not. But that it was a knockout, that's always luck. Kind of.
Yeah.
It just has to be right timing.
There's also some people who could take a really good punch. It's just how you're born, you know. The kid looked very tough, you know.
Yeah, and fucking explosive.
And young, you're very young. How old is the fighter?
Teemu Pakkalen, he's about 30, a little bit under.
Ah, so he's in the prime of his life.
Yeah,
But
27, 28.
I'm not anymore in the prime of my life, but when I was 30 or 29, 28, it was the perfect time because I had enough experience in the world to know what's going on, but I was also young enough to, you know, have endurance and be in really good shape. When you're 18, 19, you are in the best shape, but you don't know anything about the world, and so you don't have any experience. And when you're my age, you have a lot of experience, but
and especially to training, in training you need a lot of experience.
Yeah, of course, like anything, right? Anything, right?
That's true.
Yes.
What about your career in the UFC? Can you tell us a little bit about that? Now the UFC has changed a lot.
Yeah.
From those times.
You know, I fought in Pride, which when I fought in Pride, it was, let's say, considered higher level than UFC. And then I transferred.
That was back in 2005.
2004 or 5, yeah.
2004
and then
5.
I happened to, just by coincidence, transfer to UFC at the perfect time. So 2006, I fought in my first UFC. And then, of course, UFC took over everything, okay? My first fight was against Alisa Sakara from Italy. So he's European boxing champion.
I just saw the fight.
Fast hands. Yeah. His hands are so fast, you almost don't see his hands. And that's not a good sign. That's a problem.
Yeah,
when
because you need to see the hands.
You fight a guy and you get punched and you go, which hand did he hit me with? It's not a good thing.
No.
So he only hit me one time, actually. And I had two bruises right here from the knuckles. I got on the ground. I got a triangle on him. I finished him, and that was my first fight. I was the underdog, but I won. It was the submission of the night. It was a good time. And then I went to my second fight. I beat Yuki Sasaki, who was a very tough Japanese fighter.
Yeah.
And one of the few people I didn't. Almost all my victories in MMA are by submission.
Yeah, and the defeats you have by decision.
Yeah, I've never lost by knockout or submission in MMA. So I don't stall because, like, all but 2 of my victories are by submission. Right? Only 2 I won by decision, but every single time I lost, it was by decision. It's
Yeah.
because I have a big, like,
You can
I
take a
don't know,
punch.
ogre head, troll head, whatever. I just, yeah. I mean, this face is not meant for modeling. You know what I'm saying? It's meant for other things, right?
Have you tried it?
Yeah, a chin model. Yeah. I was offered like $1 million, but I said no. It's, I want more
Too
money.
much.
So yeah, I had to negotiate a better price. But you know, if you look at your body and you can think of like there's really short guys who can power lift. They can lift heavyweight because they only have to lift the weight this much. The guys who are real tall, like 2 meters tall, they have to lift the weight this much.
Yeah.
But the guy who's 2 meters tall can go in basketball and slam the basketball more than the guy who's short. So you look at your body and you figure out what sport's best for you, and hopefully the sport that's best for you, you like the sport also, and hopefully you also have some talent in the sport. And if you have the talent and the right body for it, and you like the sport, then you can make it your life. And that's what I did with fighting and jiu-jitsu.
How did you end up in the UFC? Like,
Well-
first of all, you of course you were fighting. You fought 3 fights in Pride, 3 or 4.
Yeah, I fought. Yeah, my record in Pride is actually 2-2. But
Yeah.
but whatever. It's on paper. Yeah, I beat Shoji Akira, or Akira Shoji in English.
Akira Shoji,
yeah. And he's a very tough, solid Japanese fighter. They called him Mr. Pride because he fought in like 20 Prides.
Yeah.
His record was like 10-10. So people go, oh, he has 10 losses. Well, he has 10 wins in Pride.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that's
yeah.
a tough guy.
Yeah.
And I put him to sleep with triangle, also triangle. He went to sleep. It was a little awkward. I put him to sleep. And there's like 60,000 people in the stadium watching me. There's a guy like in your crotch just sleeping.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get him off. It's a little strange. But, you know, it was a good victory for me. And then after that, I had to fight Ricardo Arona in the Grand Prix.
Yeah.
So that was a top 6. So I was
That was
considered-
90,000 or 100,000 spectators.
When I fought him, it
Yeah.
was 95 or 90,000 people.
Fuck.
So
How
imagine-
did that feel?
Well, okay, of course, you know, we're in Finland here, beautiful Finland. But, you know, the Super Bowl in the
Yeah.
USA, about 90,000 people watch Super Bowl live. So it's like I'm in the Super Bowl. It's like I'm in the World Cup, but just me walking out. So I'm walking out, and everyone's looking at me, and it's I can't describe it. When I was in UFC, I know there's millions of people watching on camera. It's different. There's only sometimes 5,000 people. But when you have 90 or 95 or
Yeah, I
100,000
can
people
imagine.
looking at you, walking out, and you just feel this energy. And I can't describe how it feels. It's impossible. It's like, it's so much adrenaline, you know, so
Yeah.
much excitement. And also in Pride, it was more like a magical experience. It was really cool, really cool. And
I heard so much about it.
It was awesome,
It's-
really
it's-
good times.
Because I used to watch the shows, of course, but I've heard so much stories from Joachim Hansen and the guys.
I know Joachim.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I used to train with him, and so
From
I've heard a lot
Norway.
about
Norway,
heard a lot about the stories, and it just sounds so magical somehow.
There's like the dark side also.
Yeah, I know.
I've
That's what I want to
I've
talk
seen that
about,
too.
actually.
I have a crazy story if you want to hear it.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, I'm not saying names, okay?
Yeah?
I'm not getting in trouble. Actually, it's probably too late, but even then, I'm not saying names, so it'll be okay. So I beat Shoji Akira, or Akira Shoji, whatever, if you're English or Japanese.
That was your first fight, right? No.
That was my second fight. I lost to Amar Sulev. This sounds super crazy. Amar Sulev, he was a good fighter. He was Asian Muay Thai champion and like Olympic level wrestler.
Yeah.
So hard takedown. I lost him by one judge. So one judge gave to me and two gave to him. It was a very close fight. But I couldn't, it was hard to take him down, and I landed one head kick, and it almost knocked him out. But he's a tough Russian guy, and his nose was like this, like this.
Yeah,
That's
I
why
know.
it's permanent.
Yeah.
He didn't, but
He didn't get any model jobs either.
But you know, he just died recently in prison. He was a hitman. He became a hitman.
That's fucking right.
For the mafia or someone. So he killed like a few politicians in Russia, and he killed I think maybe 10 people.
Yeah.
And they put him in prison. And
I heard he was
had
in
cancer.
prison,
He had
but
cancer, and they let him rot. You know.
Yeah.
In Russia, if you kill a politician, the politicians are not going to help you. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
no, no.
So I heard he got down to like 100 pounds, 90 pounds, and he died. I think 6 months ago.
What kind of cancer did he have?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I could look right now.
No. Don't worry.
But yeah, he was a tough opponent. But I'm just saying, it's a crazy story. I fought a guy who was a hitman and he killed some. It's crazy. It sounds like I'm making this stuff up, but you can look on the internet and see. I'm not lying, right? Yeah.
But I think in those days, you were one of the pioneers of MMA, and in those days there were a lot of like a little bit of dodgy people, crazy people.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Even if they were athletes, they wouldn't be athletes like by the definition of today.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's true.
They're not these model poster boys.
I won't say name, but I have another friend from Croatia, because I was there training Mirko Krokop. I was his coach for like 7 years, and the guy, he's an outstanding wrestler, like a sambo, really tough fighter. Also had really good hands, and he spent like about 5 years in prison in Spain. And it's funny, his English sucks, but I speak Spanish.
Yeah.
So because he learned Spanish in prison, I could talk to him.
Yeah.
So he speaks Croatian, and English is really bad. My Croatian is really bad. My Croatian is like a 3-year-old child. It's,
Yeah.
I want food.
Yeah.
It's bad. And
But
also,
you get people to understand you.
well, because also in Croatia, people try. They're nice. They
Yeah,
try
yeah.
to understand. Like in Finland, and also like Sweden and Norway, almost everyone speaks English actually, and actually maybe better than our English. Actually, it's really correct. It's really good. So, but in Croatia, not everyone speaks English, but they'll try at least, But imagine this guy. He told me. He said, because he's a high-level fighter. I'm not saying his name, but trust me, very, very tough guy. And he said, the personality of a fighter is similar to the personality of a criminal.
Yeah.
And also similar to the personality of a special forces guy.
Yeah. Or police.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
or a firefighter,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Because they're doing
I
dangerous
am
things.
a firefighter.
All right.
Yeah.
Ah. Appreciate your service, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Awesome. Firefighter gets all the girls. He goes,
Always. Don't tell my wife.
I know. We'll
again.
keep that
She-
secret.
Yeah.
Keep that just between you and me.
Just between
We
you.
won't tell anyone else.
No.
Just a secret.
Just here. It stays here.
But the personality that takes risks,
Yeah.
So it depends on the decisions you make in life, right? Of course, being like a special forces guy is going to take more like, you have to be in good shape and you have to not quit and stuff like that. And to be a fighter in UFC, it takes a certain, not just a personality, you have to have this like, I'm not going to quit type attitude. But all these professions have this thing in common, this type of person it's a weird personality.
I know.
It's a weird personality.
It's a personality who wants to live his life in a different way than others. Not just to be different, but it's similar
Usually-
to a. It's similar to a samurai.
Yeah, it's
you
true.
want to be in that 1%.
Yeah,
In
it's
that
true.
1% that is different than the 99%.
And also in a lot of the motorcycle gangs,
Yeah.
they have the 1%er, right? Which I'm not saying names again. I have so many friends that are in these motorcycle gangs who are my friends, right? But like I would not wear a 1% patch because I'm sure I'm a 1%er
Yeah.
in the population or whatever higher. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's a respect thing,
Yeah.
They're my friends, and I'm not a part of the club, so. But they're my friends, And so yeah, it's weird. You see this around the world. I would say the people who have this personality, they get bored with average things.
That's true.
To work at a desk and just. I know people who are happy doing that.
Yeah.
Me, I would go crazy. I couldn't do that, man.
Yeah, I think we are kind of adrenaline junkies in some way, that we need to feel that rush.
Yeah.
And whatever that rush is, for a policeman or a police officer, it's the rush of chasing somebody. For a soldier, a special forces guy, it's it's a different rush.
Oh yeah,
And for the criminal, it's a different rush.
for sure.
And for fighters, it's a different rush. It's that anticipation of the fight, walking into the fight, all that.
It's like the highest high
Yeah.
and the lowest low.
And the lowest low.
It's not like this.
No.
Of course, it's not always healthy.
No,
right?
no, it's not.
It's more
not.
healthy to have a life like this. It's more healthy. You live
Yeah.
longer. Okay. But they never, I'm not saying all of them, but the average person who does this, they never get to experience this high.
No.
They have no idea what it is.
The high of the win and the low of the loss.
So being a firefighter, if you carry a baby out of a burning building, right?
Yeah.
That's got to feel, come on, even better than anything I've ever
Yeah,
done in my
yeah,
life,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Come on,
yeah.
that's a heroic thing.
It is, it
you
is.
risk your life and you saved. I imagine how good you feel and how people appreciate that, right? So yeah, there's adrenaline there, and it's really cool. But then also there's times where like you could lose a friend, you know, you could die in a fire. So I have also many firefighter friends, and my uncle Scotty, he was a assistant chief for the Los Angeles Police Department, or fire department.
Fire
my bad.
department.
And yeah, he's lost friends in fires, like firefighters. One fell through a roof. You know what venting is?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they're trying
Yeah.
to vent the roof, and one fell on the roof and died in the fire. And that was sad. So, and also like my friend Jocko, you know, retired Navy SEAL, he lost two of his friends in Iraq. And one guy jumped on a grenade to save
Yeah.
his friends. Michael Mansour, he got the Medal of Honor.
Yeah.
And the other one just got shot in the head going through a building. So he lost two of his friends. And so
Is that the have you seen Act of Valor?
it's a movie?
Yeah,
Or
Act of Valor.
I might have seen it. I'm not sure.
Well, anyway, there's two scenes in that movie that there's one jumping on a grenade and then another one where they're doing a kind of a raid in a house and he gets shot in the head.
Well, you know what's interesting? The SEALs, they don't teach to jump on a grenade. They teach to grab the grenade and throw it, right?
of course.
The Marines teach to jump on the grenade because Michael Mansour was a Marine before he became a SEAL. So he jumped on the grenade and of course he died, but he saved two people, you know?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
three people, I don't know. So, yeah, it's a crazy personality and it's something you're born with. And it's the type of personality you can get easily bored, right?
Yeah.
So after you do this kind of crazy stuff, it's almost like I don't know.
And the funny thing is that if you take like a criminal,
Yeah.
a policeman, and a fighter, and whatever, firefighter, let's say, and they go into a bar, the drinking habits are the same.
You're right,
They're gonna get
Because-
fucking smashed.
because they get bored otherwise.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing, and once again, I'm not saying it's healthy.
No,
Okay,
it's not.
I agree. Okay, but yeah, that's my personality. So I can get bored very easy, but it's also known as an addictive personality. It's and some people, in some ways, it gets scared. There's people who are like stalk the girlfriend. They're addicted to that girl.
Yeah.
They're obsessed with the girl. That's more strange, right? But you know, there's a weird personality. It's in every person. Everyone has a part of this.
And it's funny because a lot of fighters, a lot of my friends, after they retire from fighting, they get addicted to something else.
Yeah.
It might be alcohol, drugs,
Yeah.
gambling, girls, you know,
A vice.
yeah,
A vice. Yeah.
fight, yeah, especially fights.
Yeah.
Getting into that, like,
And that's why people go. They'll say, "Hey, Anderson Silva, he's like him and Fedor probably
Yeah.
are the best of all time." Those
Yeah.
two. Why are they both still fighting? You
Yeah.
know? It's because if they stop fighting, they get
They live
really
for that,
bored
yeah.
and they think like, "What am I doing?" And they get, you know, they're not satisfied in their head, you know.
Exactly.
And that's why they're fighting. People don't understand. They should retire. Logically, yes, they should retire.
yes.
But
But
there's no logic.
No.
There's no logic to the fighter, right? Yeah.
There's no logic in walking into a cage and you know, shutting the cage door and just banging it out. There's no logic
Hey,
in that.
the first time I fought MMA, I remember
When was that? 2002?
it was in 2001. Yeah, 2001 or 2000. Yeah, wait, yeah, 2001. Early. It was before the 9/11. It was right
Yeah.
before that. And I walked in the cage, and I turn around. My opponent walks in. I'm looking at this guy, and he's a strong guy. And they go clink, 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 clink. They shut the cage, and I go, "What the fuck am I doing?" I volunteered
Yeah.
to walk into a cage with a fucking psycho
Yeah.
who wants to break my face.
And probably at that time he was a psycho.
Yeah, oh, probably.
yeah.
I'm thinking, I'm like, this is not a normal thing.
No.
But I won the fight, right? And then I did it again and again. And it's a weird thing that's hard to describe. Unless someone has this personality, they understand immediately. They understand. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense to most people.
No.
You know? And it's a weird thing.
I know. I fought from 99 to about 2004, and every time I signed up for a fight, I had to think to myself like, why the fuck am I doing this?
Yeah, it's normal.
Why am I doing this? Setting myself into this, you know, into this state where I'm nervous for 2 to 3 months,
Of course, yeah, yeah.
thinking about it all the time, and then of course being super nervous just before the fight.
And then as soon
In
as
the
you
locker
touch
room.
gloves, you're not
Yeah.
nervous.
No.
As soon as you touch the person, or the first
Yeah.
punch, you're not nervous anymore. It's weird. It's weird. It's like the old saying. The only thing to fear is fear itself.
Yeah.
Think about that. It's true, because you're getting nervous. Okay, now it takes experience to realize, okay, I'm fighting that person, and you calm down as you get older, but you still know this person wants to break your face,
Yeah.
break your nose, and as you get older, you get less nervous. But as you get older, you're not in the same shape. You're not
No,
as
no,
athletic.
yeah.
So it's a balance. It's weird. That's why Dan Henderson, you know, he fought until 47.
Exactly. Yeah.
And he's my good friend. I trained with him hundreds of times. Super hard guy to hold down. Very humble
never met
person.
him. Yeah.
Great human being. Really, really good friend.
I've
Yeah,
heard so
great
much
person.
good about him.
Oh yeah, humble.
Yeah.
He never talks shit, never. And that's also my style. I don't know. It's just weird. You look at different fighters, you see different things, and you know, I don't know. So like Conor McGregor, he sells himself so well.
Yeah.
He talks to this, and everyone wants to see him win or to see him lose, either one, right? And also, Chael Sonnen did this too. Not
And they
the
became
same.
big with that.
Yeah. He just said, you know, he went to Brazil. The Brazilians hated him.
Yeah.
But after, the Brazilians like him now, okay? So he went to Brazil, and he's like, you know, the Brazilian men, it's an act. He's actually a humble person. I know him personally. I know Chael. He doesn't hate Brazil, but he said, I don't hate Brazil. I just hate the Brazilian men. The Brazilian women, I have no problem with. You girls are lovely. And that pissed off people, you know?
Yeah.
But just, now everyone wants to watch the fight. Everyone wants to see him lose.
And,
right?
He was
Yeah.
selling tickets.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, Muhammad Ali would do this. He would talk, and everyone wants to see him lose or they want to see him win. But everyone wants to watch his fights, you know?
Exactly.
So it's smart this way.
But I also think that that's like a personality that is required for someone who gets really big,
Yeah.
like a really big name.
I was
is
never
that
this way.
they're
Yeah.
that they're sure that they're better than everyone
Yeah,
else.
but that was not my personality. So you can't just tell someone act like Conor McGregor.
No.
They
It's
won't,
in
they won't
them
do
or
a
it's
job.
not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's the whole PR,
Yeah.
you know, public relations type
Yeah.
aspect that it's hard to learn, or you're born with it, right? And so my interviews were kind of like, I respect my opponent. He's tough, and it's kind of boring, you know. But you have Conor McGregor saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna knock him out in the second round," and people are like, that draws more attention,
Yeah.
right? But I'm not the type. It's not my personality.
No.
So
Did you see Gunnar Nelson's fight last
I
night?
saw it, and I trained with. I was in Iceland for 1 week. I stayed at his place.
Yeah.
He said, "Dean, you're my guest. You stay in my room." I sleep on the couch. I go, no, I'll sleep. He goes, no, I insist. You sleep in my room. I sleep on the couch. So for 1 week, I stayed in his bed, slept in his bed. And he goes, Dean, listen, I only have one thing in this room that's extremely valuable to me. It's this giant TV. The TV was like 2 meters wide, right? Really, and like a meter tall. It was a huge.
Yeah.
This thing costs like 3,000 euro or something. Just please don't break that. And one night, I went with some Icelandic friends. We had some olut. Pivo, no. Öl. That's how you say it.
In
Beer.
Iceland.
Yeah. And I came in, and the lights are off. I'm looking for the light, and
No.
the TV fell from this high up. It weighs
broke
about.
it?
It weighs like 40 kilograms.
Yeah.
It's heavy, and Gunnar's like, "Hey, what happened?" And he comes down and like, the TV's on the ground, and I go, "Hey, bro, I'll pay for a new TV. The seminars for free or whatever."
Yeah.
You know, we picked it up. It wasn't broken. It was, I don't know. That's a 1 in 100 chance. It fell from this high. It's heavy, and it went. Ka!
How was it gonna?
Gunnar's it worked perfectly. It
Yeah.
wasn't broken. It was fine.
But he wasn't mad or anything?
No, he was like, "Oh my God, my TV."
Yeah, he was
But
like
it
his
turned on. He's like,
precious-
"Oh, thank God!" And I was like, "Thank God for me too," because I would have paid for it, but
Yeah,
I didn't
of
pay
course,
for it.
no.
It was good. Yeah,
But did you
Iceland's
see? His fighting style is very similar to Conor McGregor now.
nice. Yeah,
Standing up.
and they're friends.
And their movement.
So
they're training
They stand
together.
very high up, right?
Low
So
with
a
the
lot of
arms.
people, they lean this way forward, right? Because it's like a punch closer. They stand far away, punch, kick. It's smart. Because in mixed martial arts, the distance is different. The wrestlers in wrestling are this close. Boxers are about this far away.
And they're leaning forward.
Kickboxers are this far away.
Yeah.
MMA, you're this far away. So you can't punch the person unless you take a step.
Yeah.
In boxing, you don't have, they're close. You can touch them. You can hit them. So it works very well.
Yeah.
The whole karate, boxing, all the combined, it works. You know. Of course, jiu-jitsu,
But
it all works.
the fight last night, he was looking exactly like a copy of Conor
Yeah,
McGregor.
he did great.
Yeah.
My friend, he's a good person.
And,
really good person.
and all that, the confidence inside the ring, everything just works perfect for him. I think he's gonna get, he's gonna be the champion one day.
I hope so.
Yeah.
He's a good person. Man.
Yeah,
Really,
and I think he earns it.
yeah. I really hope he's a good person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were talking about the change in the UFC now, from those days that you were there, and one of the things that really bothers me with the change now is I wouldn't say the fighters the level is high. It's really the level is high, but with that Reebok deal,
Yeah.
it kind of went dull. It's like an inflation,
I agree. Well, when I was fighting
There's no
there,
personalities there now.
I could have worn bobsbarbershop.com
Yeah,
on my no problem.
yeah,
Now you cannot.
Yeah.
right? So a lot of fighters they make probably half their money from sponsors. I had Giants, I had Tap Out, and they were paying me good money.
yeah,
I was making really good, more money from the sponsors than from fighting.
yeah,
Right? I had a winning record. I was in UFC, so that's why. Of course, if you have one fight and you lose, it doesn't work for you very well. But now it's interesting, yeah. So I've had some fighters tell me, yeah, I could have made $20,000 with sponsors, but now I made $3,000
exactly.
because of Reebok. Reebok is, of course, a good company, but yeah, it's hard, man, for some of these young fighters.
I'm not saying that the label Reebok or the brand that's not bad,
Of course not.
but it's just that what I was used to was you and Tito Ortiz and these
Yeah.
guys. They had all their personalities. Tito Ortiz had
I think
his flames.
It was more. It was more fun. It was
Yeah.
more interesting. Right?
Yeah, it was
now
more-
everyone has the same uniform.
Yeah.
It's more boring.
It was more similar to WWE or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Everyone had his thing, and now it's just gone.
Yeah, it's gone. You're right. It's true. But you know, also interesting. Back in 2003, 4, 5, around this time, we could, after a fight, walk into the crowd and sit with fans and drink beer and
Yeah, that's
and
true.
people all around us. It was great. And
Yeah.
then around 2007, they said no more. They wanted to make us like NFL players, where you don't talk to the crowd. You're private. You know?
Stand
So
off.
you can no longer go out and sit with people in the after your fight. You have to like wait downstairs, or basically you wait downstairs. You watch the fights, on the TV. You get on the bus, you go back to the hotel. But when I was fighting, it was I win my fight. Literally, I take my gloves off, my tape gets cut off, and I'd walk into the crowd and sit with people.
Have a beer.
Fans. And
Yeah.
fans were just all around me. And when I won in 2006 by submission against Elisa Sakara, man, I was like Michael Jackson for one
Yeah.
night. Only for one night. I'm not saying I'm not Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
But that's how famous I was only that one night.
yeah.
Okay? The next night, I'm 50% famous. It's the night before. And then it goes, after a month,
30.
people are just like,
20.
I think I saw you fight one time.
Yeah.
So it fades really fast. But it's amazing. That night, you just walking around, everyone's looking at you. I saw your fight. And I was walking around after. I had like 7 friends, guys. They weren't dressed very well, And the bouncers at these nice nightclubs are like, Dean Lister, we watched your fight tonight. You want to come to our club? I'm like, yeah, but I have 7 guys.
Yeah.
And they have tennis shoes on. Oh, no problem. Come inside. We'll bring girls to you.
Oh, really?
And you want 1 or 2 bottles of vodka? Which 2? No problem. And so I just walk inside and sit at the table, and the bouncer would bring girls over just to sit with us because they were like, "Oh, UFC." It was crazy times, but it's not easy to walk in downtown LA or
Yeah.
the rich area of LA, and you have 7 guys with tennis shoes on, and you get into it for free, no line, you don't wait, and you get vodka bought for you. Doesn't happen.
No,
Doesn't
it
happen.
doesn't happen.
But for me, it happened a few times. So
Yeah.
it was fun. It was.
How
good
was
time.
it in Japan, the after fights?
Japan was more crazy. The Japanese are very respectful people. I really like the Japanese culture. When I fought there, even if you lost, if you fought hard, they didn't care if you won or lost.
I know, because that's what Enson Inoue was talking about
Yeah.
in his book too. Have you read the book?
No, I heard it's a good book.
It's
I haven't read
really
it.
good. You should read it. Yeah.
Also, the Mark Hunt, but it's real good. Have you read that?
No, I haven't read
I heard that's
Yeah.
really good. I
I
haven't
should
read
do
it. Mark Hunt's a badass.
Yeah, he's a
man.
badass dude.
He's like he's a year older than me. He's still in the UFC. Unfortunately, he lost to Overeem by knockout. But he's 42.
And he's got, I don't know how many fights he has, but
So
probably 40.
he hits so hard.
Yeah.
He even cracked the skull of Struve, the guy from
Stefan
Holland.
Struve, yeah.
Look, there's X-ray of his face, and you see like the bones are broken in the head, not the jaw,
Not
the
just the-
teeth.
not just the
You
orbital
can see
and
it's
yeah.
the face is broken from the punch.
Fuck.
That's how hard he hits.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So, yeah, it's a dangerous sport, right?
Yeah.
Dangerous sport. Yeah.
But yeah, the fans, they
Fans
loved
are
you.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were talking about the after fights.
Well. Okay.
Pride stories.
Okay. You want
I'm
to
a
pride
little
stories?
boy sitting in your lap. I want to hear pride stories.
Once again, I won't say names because these are involving people that
I
they
know,
won't,
I know.
They won't kill me, but still, it's like
I know,
it's
and
out of
it could be-
respect. I won't say names, right?
Yeah.
So after I beat Shoji Akira, right, I was on TV, and I'm walking around Roppongi, which is the area of Tokyo, which is where all the foreigners
Crazy, yeah.
they go party, crazy nightclubs. and there was a nightclub called Wall Street. It was downstairs. And I walked by, there's a big line. I walked by there, and there's this big guy. He was from Ghana, Africa. His name was Lexi. He was the bouncer. He was like more than 2 meters tall, more. And he's like, hey, you fight tonight? I'm not doing his accent correctly. He's like, hey, come to our club. I'm like, okay. You don't wait in line. We saw you fight. You're a good fighter. Come inside for free. So I go downstairs. It's a nightclub. It's like really full. You have to walk through people like this. And then I noticed that there's these.
How old were you at this point?
29, 28.
Yeah.
And there's an area in this nightclub. It's a small club. So everyone's like this, like sardines, like this, walking around. But these Russian guys, there were 2 Russian guys, and they had this big area with ropes. They had a lot of space. They had a bunch of girls. They were almost all like Russian or Czech or Hungarian, Polish. They were like East European girls. And they were all really pretty. I'm not sure what their occupation was. I'm not sure. I don't know.
No,
okay?
but money is involved.
Yeah, okay,
Probably.
So I'm walking by like this, and one of the Russian guys, because in Russia they really respect fighters. I love Russian culture also. They really respect fighters. If you're a fighter, if you're good, you're tough, even the gangsters respect you. I'm walking by this, one of the guys looks at me, he grabs the bodyguard. Yeah, there were two Russian bodyguards like this, about my size, and they had suits. I'm pretty sure they had guns. Almost positive. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. They were just like this. And the guy, I don't speak Russian, but he said, and that guy goes, hey, my boss wants to talk to you. Come talk to him. That's my Russian accent.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good one.
And the guy's like, hello, you fight tonight, right? You fight on television, right? I go, yeah, that was me. You are a good fighter. Come to our party. Come inside. I'm like, really? Opens the rope. I'm inside now with a bunch of girls. And these 2 guys, they had 2 little tables, and they were drinking vodka. I'm like, oh, very nice to meet you. Hey, can I buy you some beers? No, we don't want your beers. We give you anything you want. It's okay. No problem. You win. You are a champion tonight. We celebrate your victory. We buy for you. I'm like, okay, thank you, but so I'm drinking vodka and there's girls just dancing around me, and
one thing leads to another.
No, not like that. So they were like, you're a good fighter. Cheers, and na zdorovia. And they were cheering, drinking, vodka. And I had a Japanese friend there that was watching me. He was like this, like from the outside. And after, the party was over, I went outside, and my Japanese friend goes, do you know who those men were? I go, well, no, I met them. That was number 1 and number 2 mafia in Russia. Men. They were number 1 and number 2. If they want you dead, you are dead, right? I go, oh, well, they bought me beer, they bought me drinks, so it was.
And lucky,
I mean, they didn't want me dead.
lucky
Apparently,
you didn't piss them off.
no, but I mean, I tried to pay. They said, no, do not pay. We pay.
Yeah.
Do not insult us. And so they paid for everything. And it's funny, so I had these high-level mafia guys buying me all my drinks and introducing me to their girls, and it was crazy. It was a crazy time, I'm not gonna say what happened afterwards. Maybe,
no,
maybe something, maybe not. Who knows?
Let's leave that to the
No,
imagination.
but
I've
maybe not. Who
heard
knows?
so many crazy stories about pride from Joachim and Gilbert Ivel. Gilbert?
I know.
Yeah.
I know. He was in Croatia with Krokop when I
Oh,
was
yeah?
training. Yeah.
How's he doing
I
now?
sparred Gilbert before.
How's he doing now?
I haven't seen him for like 3 years.
I
But
haven't seen him in
I've
10.
fought Gilbert in training.
Yeah.
He kicks and punches very hard.
Fuck yeah,
But
I know.
if you put him on the ground, he doesn't. He's like,
No, he's He's
Yeah.
not
On the
that
ground. On the
talented.
ground, he doesn't.
Yeah.
You know. But on the feet, it's a problem, bro. He kicks and punches like harder than almost anyone I've ever met.
I know.
Really, really hard. Really
Yeah.
hard. And it's not fun to spar him, unless you put him on the ground. You know. But
Did you party with him?
A little bit, but he was he got real close to some Croatian friends, and he was in a different group. He would usually go out with other people, but yeah, party with him. But he's very blunt, like very direct,
Yeah.
and he makes jokes, but he's not I don't know. He's a special guy, right?
He's a special guy.
Special
yeah.
guy, special
He's
guy.
a special guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give
But
it
I had
up.
a lot of fun with him. But anyway,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
heard a
of
lot of stories from the Pride days, and
Yeah.
he-
Well, we were at the same time.
Yeah.
Pride. I never fought him in Pride, but he fought Jeremy Horn. I think Jeremy Horn won.
I don't remember.
I
what
think so.
happened. Yeah.
I fought Jeremy Horn twice in UFC. One time, I beat him in UFC, but earlier in my career, he beat me in King of the Cage, which at that time was the third in the world. So it was Pride, UFC, King of the Cage at this time.
What made you change from Pride to the UFC?
Well, I don't know. Well, I was training Tito. I was Tito Ortiz's
Yeah.
grappling coach, and Tito had a manager that said, "Hey, we can get you more money, and UFC is growing." And so, actually, by coincidence, I made the right decision. So I transferred from Pride to UFC in 2005. Well, 6 is when my first fight. I did the Ultimate Fighter show with Tito in 2005, 2006.
Was that the first show?
It
No,
was
the
third. Yeah, third. And it was good. It was good. Michael Bisping was on there. I was his coach. Matt Hamill. There's some good fighters. It was crazy times. Thankfully, the coaches we had our own apartments. We can go out, but the people in the house had to stay there. They couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
They were so bored. Imagine being locked in a house
How long
What-
were they there?
for like 5 weeks.
Yeah.
But only guys, and you're
And
gonna fight.
fighters.
You're gonna fight half of them, and they intentionally put like the conservative guy who's religious next to the crazy guy who is an atheist, who drinks a lot, and they put they make conflict. They get people in the show
I know.
to have
Yeah,
conflict
yeah,
on
yeah.
purpose.
Because that's what people want to
Yeah,
see.
people want to see. Of course, conflict is entertaining, right?
Yeah.
So, I was a part of that. But season 3, so 2005, and 2006 is my first fight in UFC. It was good times. Yeah, let's say. No
Yeah.
complaints. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and what now? You're just you're not fighting mixed martial arts anymore. You had one fight in, was it 2015?
2 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2015.
If someone offered me really good money, I'll fight again. But other than that, there's no reason, because there's so many. Was it Nick Diaz? Maybe. He said, "You know what? Fighters, they're like strippers." What's that mean?
Yeah.
Well, if you're the owner of a strip club and you get some hot, young 18-year-old girl from Russia come in, you hire her. She's not asking for much money, and probably has no drug problem, has no whatever. She's a young girl. But after 5 years or 3 years, she might have a drug problem, whatever, or something. In this environment.
And there's so much similar problems,
Yeah.
It
And-
doesn't have to be a drug problem, but
Something.
Yeah, something.
And they want more money now.
Yeah.
So what they do, they fire her, and they get another 18-year-old girl who's from some other country or whatever, and that's how the fight business goes. So unless you're winning every single match, there's so many good fighters like Talby. He's from Denmark. He just got cut from UFC. He's a really good fighter. I don't know why they cut him, but yeah, it's like they just use you and dump you.
Yeah, and And I mean, as we were talking earlier, it's not healthy. You know,
Yeah.
if you take your MacBook Air and start hitting it in the wall every day, it's gonna break eventually.
Eventually, yes.
It's gonna be slower and slower and slower, and it's gonna break eventually. And it's the same thing with fighting. I believe that if we take, unnecessary punishment too much, there will be a result.
Yeah. Of course.
So,
Yeah.
was that a reason for you, or just health reasons?
My body's all fucked up. Really, both my shoulders, both my knees, my back. But it's because how many submissions I've been in and I escaped that were dangerous, right? And I've taken knees to the head that would knock almost anyone out. It didn't knock me out, but it hurt me, and over, knees to the head. It's not like a jab. I'm talking like, boom, knee to the head, no pads, right? and it's a problem. So over time, you just realize it's a lot of abuse on your body. And I'm not 25 anymore. I'm 41. So, yeah, I would still fight right now if there was really good money offered. But other than that, there's no reason. I can do submission wrestling matches and get paid probably the same amount of money. I'm not getting hit in the head. I've been hit in the head enough, I've taken a whole, probably the average 100 people, you added up all the times they got hit in the head, I probably got hit in the head more than average 100 people combined.
Definitely.
In my life, because I'm a fighter, right? So, and so I actually, because of this, I started realizing that I was speaking differently. Like I was slurring, I was making mistakes. So I said I need to keep my mind sharp. So that's why I keep learning languages. I'm learning more languages to keep my mind active.
It's funny.
It's bad.
It's
really
funny.
bad.
After my after my MMA career, I was out for a while. I was doing just submission wrestling matches and BJJ, and then I started getting into boxing again, and of course I loved it.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, it's just in me, but I felt like I was getting these really weird headaches.
Yeah.
And also the thing with the speech, I started losing words, and I just came to that point that actually one of my good friends, Thsi, he called me one night after a training session, and he said that, Arto, you can't take a punch anymore.
Yeah. Once when Chocolate L finally got knocked out by Rampage, then it's easy to get knocked out a second time. So and Chocolate is a badass.
Yeah.
Man, he's also a friend of mine.
Fuck yeah.
And Rampage is also a really good friend of mine. But once you get knocked out one time, it's like you can get knocked out easy.
The second time. Yeah.
It's just life. So fortunately for me, well, I've been told I'm a okay teacher or something. And I like teaching. So the rest of my life, I'll do this last Abu Dhabi. It'll be in Helsinki.
Yeah.
Late September this year. And that's my last Abu Dhabi I'm going to do.
Will that be the last?
If I win gold, no. If I don't win gold, fight. I'm done. Yeah. Because I'm 41, it's my 8th Abu Dhabi. So I've won 3. I took silver in 1. So, it's not so bad, right?
You've been doing this for such a long time, and as you said, you're 41 already. Has your fighting game changed over the years?
You know what? It's crazy. Now I understand striking. I now understand distance, footwork, and how to punch hard. But now, I wish I knew this at 25.
I know.
I don't know why. I understand the kinetic linking of the foot to the hip to the stomach, ribs, shoulder, and snap. I can do it.
It's funny. It's just like in grappling. I maybe 5 years ago, I had this aha moment where I started thinking more of principles instead of techniques.
Principles are the highest thing.
Yeah.
But if you forget the techniques, it's a problem. It's like this.
Of course, yeah. But as you were
No,
saying,
you're right. I know what you mean exactly.
yeah, when I was 20, it was all techniques
Yeah.
without principles. Now, when you're adding the principles, you start, as you were saying, the kinetics. You understand striking better.
It's like this. If you learn a new language, it helps to first learn the alphabet, right?
Yeah.
A, B, C, D.
You gotta learn the alphabet. Yeah.
Finnish is like probably longer of an alphabet, but you learn what each letter sounds like and how to pronounce it. Then you learn words, and then sentences, right? And then you can have a conversation. Eventually, hiccups.
And eventually, you can play around with the conversation. You can be funny
Yeah.
at times. You can change the tone of voice.
Of course.
All that.
At the highest level, you can make jokes. If
Yeah.
you can make jokes in our language, then you speak the language
Yeah.
pretty well. Okay.
Pretty well.
And if you can argue also, if you can argue and make jokes, then you speak the language. In my opinion. So, like you said, it's easy to focus on the principle, but you forget the words or you forget the letters. My God, I have hiccups. Sucks.
It must be the water you're drinking.
Oh yeah, for sure. Hey, take a quick break after.
Fuck, I need to go to.
Me too. I was like,
We'll be
cut.
right, we'll be right
I have
back.
hiccups and I have to go pee pee.
PP Island. We're back from our little PP Island tour.
Oh yeah.
Now
Oh yeah, happens sometimes.
the Yakuza story. You were just gonna come to that.
So, this sounds like fantasy almost, but it really happened. I was there. I saw it, and it involved me, by the way. So, I beat Shoji Akira, and the winner of that tournament. So, Paulo Fido fought Amar Solev, and Paulo Fido won. I fought Shoji Akira, and the same night we're gonna fight like in 2 hours, But what happened was, Amar Solev got a broken arm from Paulo Fido, and Paulo Fido got kicked in the foot and broke a foot. Broke his foot, broke some bones in his foot, so he couldn't fight me. So I won the tournament. So I'm in the Pride final conflict, top 16 fighters in the world. So I had Vanderlei Silva, Alistair Overeem, had Ricardo Rona, had Shogun Rua, had Rampage Jackson, had Sakuraba, Igor Vochanshin, it had Nakamura, it had Yoshida. It was the best. And Kevin Randleman was in there. It was a crazy, probably the hardest tournament ever.
How does it feel when you're inside that final conflict and you're fighting the most, like, the hardest fucking killers in the world?
Yeah, well, it's adrenaline, right?
Yeah,
you
it
guys,
is.
but of course it's pressure. Everyone gets a little bit nervous, right? You start thinking about, like, if you hear Mike Tyson has a story about, he's like,
Fear.
I've been afraid of my opponent, every day in training. I've been afraid of him, and I'm in the locker room and I'm afraid of him. But every step I get closer to the ring, I'm more and more confident. It's awesome. Anyone watching this, type in Mike Tyson motivation or intimidation, whatever. But when I get in the ring, I'm a god. No one can hurt me. So everyone has their own way of dealing with nerves or adrenaline or whatever, or pressure. It's normal. Well, okay, yeah. So I'm in this tournament. So they had 14 guys selected already, and I was the 15th. They have one last person they're gonna select, right? No one knew what it was. So I beat Shoji Akira. I won the tournament because the other two were injured, and they go, Dinesta, you win Pride.
Dinesta.
Good job. We change ticket. You stay in Japan for 3 more days. We pay. We change ticket. I'm like, okay, great. We are going to announce your opponent tomorrow. Oh, great. So they waited until my friends were on the plane. My friends are in the plane. They're in the air. My corner. My coach. So I got a call. Dean Lista, please be at elevator at 12 noon. Okay? So I put a nice shirt on. It's press conference. It really wasn't a press conference, but so I put my nicer shirt on, not a tie, but a nice shirt. And I'm waiting by the elevator. Bing, bing, opens up. It's no joke. It's Fedor Emelianenko there in the elevator, and his translator. She's an older Russian lady, translates for him. She speaks English and whatever, Japanese. And then I walk in, and Nakamura, who's a great Japanese fighter, was there too. And there's a little small Japanese guy with the elevator guy. He had a key to go to the top floor. So I'm like, oh, Fedor, nice to meet you. He speak at this time no English, but he's really humble, really, really badass guy, but humble, really humble person. I shook his hand. He had a broken hand, but so
He didn't complain.
Yeah, but he was, We arrived to the top floor, and the elevator door opens, and we're in a room. It's not a hallway where there's doors. We're in a freaking room, and there's all these Japanese guys sitting there on this big table. The table was 10 meters long, at least. It was an oval shape. So you sit here, Lista. So I sit there right next to Fedor. I'm not gonna lie, 90% of the whole meeting was about Fedor. He broke his hand, this, and he had the translator talking in Russian. I don't speak Russian. But finally they go, Dean Lista. I'm like,
That's me.
and I hear, sure, Dean Lista. And then the woman, she was a Japanese lady, but the translator spoke English and Japanese. Realize around me are all these Yakuza guys. Yakuza are like the mafia of Japan. And my interpretation or description is that the general Yakuza guy, some of them were nice and some of them are assholes, like anyone, right? But
Some of them are pure businessmen.
Yeah.
And some of them
But they
are more
usually
like,
have something. If you look at their face or their body, something stands out to make them. They don't look like an average Japanese guy. So one guy had this like blue hair, like this, like I don't know, like 1980s punk rock, but he had a suit on, and he had blue hair like this, like this.
Like imagine a neo samurai movie.
It's like Kill Bill.
Yeah,
I swear.
Yeah.
It was like a scene from Kill Bill.
Yeah.
Another guy had these white glasses with the like shades, little like
I know.
like this.
Yeah.
He could look at you, but you can't see his eyes.
Yeah.
Another guy had these long fingernails, like I'm telling, they were this long, and he was going rah rah rah
Yeah.
and he's looking at this rah rah rah, and I'm like, it's kind of strange, man. And Fedora's next to me. Finally, they say, Dean Lister. Everyone's looking at me like all serious. The head guy, it wasn't the president of Pride. It was behind the scenes gangster.
Yeah.
I don't know his name, but he's the boss. And I hear the woman say, "We have selected your opponent for Pride in 2 weeks. You come back and fight here." I'm like, I'm ready. Who is it? I'm thinking, Vanderlei Silva, Rampage Jackson. Who is it going to be? Someone tough, of course. You are going to fight Ricardo Arona. That's my super fight in Abu Dhabi in 2 months from then. That's for $40,000. That's just a grappling match. That's not. So they're trying to take the the two best grapplers in the world and put them to fight in
MMA rules.
Yeah, but it's bad for Abu Dhabi. See?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, because we're the super fight. And I go, ma'am, that's my super fight in Abu Dhabi in 2 months, and I don't think that's a good opponent for me. And she went, okay. Sure. I can't speak Japanese.
but you can
and then I hear the guy go, I'm like, that's not good.
That's not a good answer.
And there's a guy going, rah, 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 looking at me. And this guy with the hair, he's looking at me like this, like crazy. I'm like, this is really weird, man. And then she translates, you are a pride fighter, and you fight who we tell you to fight. You are a fighter, and we are owner. And I go, okay, think fast. I thought this was going to work. I was wrong. I went, I know Japan is an honorable culture, a culture of honor, samurai culture, and my personal Bushido. You know, I gave my promise.
Your code.
Yeah, my code of a warrior. You know, you guys are samurai, and I gave my honor, my word to the Prince of Abu Dhabi that I'm gonna have a match with Ricardo Rona. If I fight him here, it's gonna be a very bad thing. I'll be breaking a promise. And the woman went, "Are you sure you want to say this?" I'm like, "Yes." She went, "Okay." And she went, and I heard, I'm like, that was not good at all. And then she goes, "No, Dinista, you do not understand. You will fight Arona." And I look, this guy's like, rah, 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 looking
and
at me.
And you were like, okay, I
there.
guess I'm fighting Arona.
Yeah, you know, there's a guy with the perm, like he goes like, and then the guy's like, rah, rah, looking at me. So, I don't know. They didn't take out a sword or something.
No.
But almost.
But that would have been the next one.
I don't know. I didn't let it get to that point.
Yeah.
I went, okay. So I had to fight Arona. It was a hard fight. I lost that fight by decision.
Yeah, I saw it.
And of course, and he took second in the tournament. So, you know, he beat.
But that was a fucking hard fight. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, you lost the fight on points.
Yeah.
But you gave one hell of a fight.
I took him down. I almost submitted him a few times.
Yeah.
But you know what? After that fight, he put, as a detail, Arona was my friend. But you know what he did though? I had a small cut. Maybe I needed 2 stitches. 2 small cut. There was blood. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
You know what he did? The referee couldn't see. He got his thumb and went and opened the cut with his finger.
Yeah.
His dirty fingers. And now it was like this.
Yeah.
Like a Z. Like it ripped my skin. And I told him in Portuguese, "Que é seu filho da puta?" Like I said, "What's up, you son of a bitch?" I called him. And he stopped. But now I have a cut like this. It was, now I needed 14 stitches. It was, you know. So I told the Japanese about this. I'm not a tattletale or a narc, you know, or a snitch, whatever, you know. But this is a career.
Yeah, and this is not okay.
This is illegal.
Yeah.
This is not. Yeah. It's not funny, you know. He was winning the fight. He didn't have to do this. So I told the Japanese about this, and they were like, "Oh, okay, we understand. No problem. They didn't do anything, but they were looking for. He fought poor Sakuraba, who of course is like a hero. He's great legend, and he was beating he put Sakuraba into the hospital with the knees to the head. But they found him on camera doing it to him, the same thing, and they gave him a fine of like $40,000, $50,000. So that's a big cost.
Yeah.
So imagine he's making $150,000. Oh, you have to give us $50,000 back for doing that to Sakuraba. So yeah, I'm the reason. Yeah, Yeah, he lost all the money. They were looking for it, and they saw it. It's on camera. He's doing that to the face, and he was already beating Sakuraba so bad.
Yeah.
There's no reason to do that. There's no reason, you know. Even if you were losing, it's cheating. It's terrible, you know.
Do you know what Arona is doing nowadays?
I think he's just surfing and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah?
I'd like to fight him again. I have more experience. Yeah. And now my leg locks, he would not escape him.
No,
He would not.
I
Back
bet
then,
he
it wasn't as refined. It wasn't as, you know, I'd won already a world championship with leg locks, but now my style is good. He would not escape my leg locks now. It would be over. It would be done. So there's 4 times I had him in leg locks. I look back, I'm like, you know, I had him, but I didn't know
how to finish
things.
Yeah.
Now I know.
Yeah.
It would be over. If he doesn't tap, he needs surgery in his knee. You know, it'd be over, done. But you know, it's life. It happens, you know, and it's true. Of course, you learn more from a loss than a victory. So,
A lot more.
I live and I learn.
Yeah.
So, no problem.
How do you feel about this rising promotion? You think they're gonna get big?
Oh, I hope so. That's where Mirko Korab just fought.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like. The thing is, UFC is like the Nike of shoes, you know. These are the shoes that are really good, but they're not as famous as Nike or Reebok, right? Well, Reebok is with UFC by coincidence. So Japan has, first of all, the people really respect you. In USA, like let's say you tap to an arm lock, people will yell at you. You tapped out, ha! They'll laugh.
Pussy,
There's people like that, really. I swear. Not everyone, only a few, but there are people who yell at you. And if you get knocked out, you got knocked out, ha! They'll laugh. In Japan,
Finns are the same.
they're like that too.
Yeah. You should read the stories what they are saying about Teemu Packalén, the guy who got knocked out, and about Mach 1. I mean,
It's
fuck.
too bad though, because they're not fighters though.
Yeah, and
you know?
they don't understand that what happens when a punch connects, it just shuts the light. It's just like turning off the light from a light switch.
You know Bill Burr, the comedian.
Yeah.
He had a joke like, everyone should just get punched in the face one time so they understand what it is. He goes, even women. He goes, I don't hit women, but it would be good if you understood how it felt. You know? It would be good. It would change your whole life. You know.
Yeah.
So most men and women, most have never been punched in the face, like, right?
I think that's a problem in society too.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
because
yeah.
people feel like they have the right to say anything to anybody. You know.
Everyone's an expert now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They feel like freedom of speech is that you can walk up to anyone,
Be an asshole.
no matter how big or how scary they look, and that you can go, oh, fuck you,
Yeah.
and nothing's gonna happen.
Legally, you're
Yeah.
right. Nothing's gonna happen. Oh, quick story. You'll laugh at this. There was a picture of a guy. He was but I love animals. Really, I'm not cruel to animals. I love animals, but there was one. You know, really like he went to yell at these a motorcycle gang about they have leather jackets, and why you have leather jackets? You're killing animals. And he went crazy yelling at them. You know, he wanted to like, hey, give me your leather jackets. You know, and they were like, no. They tied him to a tree, and it's funny. He's like this. He's taped to a tree,
Yeah.
and he's like this, and he can't move. They didn't kill him. They didn't, you know. But it's funny. There's a picture of him. He's on a tree, like 2 meters in the air. His feet are just. He's taped to a tree like this, and you know, he's not gonna fuck with those guys again ever again.
No.
He's a skinny guy like this.
Yeah.
He's scared, I guess. And they just like left him there. He was there for a few hours.
I was just talking about this same subject with another guest of mine. That if you see a lion, you know, you're not gonna go and fucking poke the lion with a stick.
Well, for not, yeah.
Yeah, because the lion's gonna fucking rip you apart, right?
Yeah.
And everybody understands that. But if you walk up to Dean Lister and insult him, and you fucking hit him in the face.
Yeah,
People are gonna be like, oh, why the fuck did Dean Lister hit him in the face?
Yeah, you're right. Everyone's, and it's also kind of popular. I don't know why, but to be controversial, usually means you're an asshole.
Yeah.
No, doesn't have to be. You can be controversial in your own way, but people want to be controversial. They want to be a dickhead. It's their reason to be a dickhead. So I know some interviewers for athletes. They talk to people like, yeah, you didn't look good in that last round. Your last round, you didn't look good. They're trying to get like a response, a bad response, and they get it sometimes. But yeah, being a dickhead is different than being controversial. But people confuse.
They tend to be dickheads instead to be.
And also, we're in the age where talent is not as important as fame.
Yeah.
Like Paris Hilton, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, is she very talented?
Not that I know of.
She did a sex tape or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's fame. She has fame. Kim Kardashian did a sex tape. Yeah, she's pretty, but, you know, she has like fake ass implants, and she's famous because she has fame. Like, she's not okay.
She's not talented in porn. I mean, she got
It's not talent anymore.
Yeah, she got famous for that sex tape, but she's not talented in porn.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But what I mean is like when I was young, Michael Jackson, he can sing. You know what I'm saying? And you had like the famous people had real talent. Of course, today many have real talent, but a lot of people who are famous, they're just like YouTube famous, or their face is out there and everyone knows them.
It could be the talent, the definition of talent has just changed.
Yeah, maybe.
And guys like you and me, in our age, we just don't understand that.
I don't know, man. It's just weird. Like, you know who Snooki is? Snooki?
Yeah.
Well, there's girls who that's their role model.
Yeah.
Okay, I have nothing against Snooki. I don't know her. I have no problem with her, but she's not really. Can she sing? Can she act?
Yeah.
Well, she was on a reality show.
Yeah, she was
famous.
on that New Jersey Shore. Yeah.
But she was on TV.
Shore,
That's what I'm saying. She's on TV. She's famous. And when I was young, the only way you got on TV is you had to be talent. You had to have some talent, right? Or you're not gonna be on TV. That's it. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Now it's different. So things are changing, of course. You know. Yeah. What are you gonna do, right?
About you like beer. Some say that you're
Olut.
Olut. Yeah, exactly right. Sandel's Olut. Some say you're the Babe Ruth.
Oh, I heard this before.
The MMA world.
Well,
you can be out on a week-long bender and then just come in and perform.
Nah, I don't want to give myself that reputation. Before a match, I get disciplined. You know, I get in good shape. You know, but
do you stay off alcohol then?
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
For how long?
I've had a few times where I didn't. I still won matches, but you know, I'm not trying to be a bad influence on people. You know, of course, drinking too much is not good. But everyone has their own vice. Everyone in the world has, like, I know one guy, gambling, like he lost everything he had from gambling. He doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, but he gambles. He has to gamble. If there's a chance, he has to do it. He wants to take this risk, and he lost everything. He lost his house and everything. That's sad, you know. Some people, you know, they.
It's like that tattoo, you know, the man's ruin, with the glass and the woman and the drinking. No, the card, the glass, and the woman.
Yeah. Well, these are common.
Yeah, because everyone has their own vice. For some, it's alcohol. For some, it's or something else related. Just a, drug, whatever. It could be the playing cards, like gambling, or it could be the women.
You know, sometimes
most men have some of that.
Of course, yeah. Me is women and beer. That's actually all. I mean, it's not the best, but it's not the worst. You know, it's sick and terrible to think about, but you know, they find these sicko guys that are like, you know, they target children or whatever, and usually they're normal people. They're a model citizen, and they're doing sick things to children, right? Who would know, right? Oh, they're perfect. They don't drink. They don't do. But they have a major vice.
Yeah.
Major, worse than anything else that could exist. You know. So everyone has something. Some people lie a lot. Some people really want to have money. Money is their vice. And some people can't be in a relationship. You know, depends. But no, I don't have a problem with it. It's just that when I'm on vacation or when I'm traveling, yeah, I have a few drinks.
You like to enjoy life.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You also live a very simple life.
Simple is, yeah. Actually, it's very true. I live on the beach. It's a nice life. I live on the beach in San Diego. It's a nice
Pacific
city.
Beach.
Mission Beach, which is right next. It's the same beach. Yeah, it's about 2 kilometers down.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So Mission
I've
Beach.
been there.
There's a roller coaster. You know the roller coaster?
I can't say I've been to Mission Beach, but I've been to San Diego, to Pacific
Right,
Beach,
yeah.
and
So Mission Beach, Pacific Beach. This is the same thing. Same beach. It's just longer. It's two areas of the same beach. This La Jolla is more the rich area. I don't know. I just think like I don't know. I don't want to sound like I'm copying Fight Club, but it's true. I really believe these words. You know, working a job that you hate to buy shit that you do not need to impress people you don't know. What's the point? So, money is a tool. It's a thing we need, okay, to do things. Of course, you have to make money. But if your whole purpose is to make money and buy things, that's your life. You're not living life, actually.
No.
You know, and so it's not exactly it's my words, but of course, the point is like old wisdom. It's like I prefer to invest in dreams, memories, and experiences.
Because that's what you're gonna take
Yeah,
with you.
no one's can ever take that from me. You know, I could have a nice house. Actually, a house is the only possession that I would consider connected to experience, because a home is a home, right? House is a home. A car, if your passion is cars, that's fine. But if you just want a nice car just to get girls, okay, if you have the money, great. But if that's the reason you're working really hard, is to get a car to impress girls, you might have to work in your confidence a little bit, right?
I think it helps if you look back in life and you find what you're really grateful about.
Yeah.
Because
Of course.
usually when I did this, like, I don't know what it's called, like a 5-minute journal where you write down the things every morning that you're grateful about. And that really helps sometimes, you know, to find the things what matter to you in life. And most of the times it's not about money, and it's not about the car, you know, those things. It's more about the things doing that you love.
You know, family.
And the people around you.
Like family.
Yeah.
That is dreams, memories, experiences. So of course, family, having a nice home, your dreams, you know. I mean, I know a girl from high school that she just loved flowers. It sounds crazy. She had, in English, it's called a green thumb.
Yeah.
It means you can grow plants,
yeah.
right? And so whatever. And now she owns like 20 little stores in San Diego of flower stores. That's her dream. You know, whatever a dream is of someone, you know, everyone has a different dream, but you could do it, you know. It's
What's your passion?
jiu-jitsu,
Jiu-jitsu?
fighting, and I study a lot of the physical confrontations. I even do a lot of like
Self-defense, dude.
I mean, I even teach military and police, and I even train with them. Like I'm even doing like the firearms training with them. You know, like high level stuff. But I'm there to do ground, or that's my specialty. So yeah, I've been around the world. Trained in Brazil. I trained some Israeli guys, some Russian guys. Military guys. Good people, real good people. So my specialty is looking at the art of confrontation, or the art of war, even you could say. Even though I'm not a soldier, I'm not in the army, but I have seen war. I grew up in Panama.
Yeah,
during the invasion.
Somewhere, yeah.
And there were bombs in my backyard. The house would shake, and basically I was on the ground for 3 days.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna die, My mom was smart. She filled the bathtub full of water, so we drank from the bathtub because there's no water. When there's a war, no one works at the water factory. They stop. They don't go to work that day. Basically, when there's a war, right? So that's my experience of combat. So I'm not some war veteran, but I've seen combat. And it's really ugly, But whatever, it changes your life, For me, in a good way.
I think it changes how you look at things in life.
Yeah.
And what's important.
Yeah, absolutely. And also because in Panama, in 1989 is when this invasion happened.
Yeah.
The Panamanians lost, I think 8,000 people died. USA, we lost 18 people. So the Panamanian kids hated me. It really wasn't my fault. I was just a kid, but my dad was military. So yeah, I got a lot of fights, like serious fights. I wasn't 6 years old. I was like 13 or 14. So, it was more serious. And this changed my life also, because I had to understand I'm in a situation where people just hate me. And to this day, I don't hate the Panamanian boys for this, I understand. It wasn't my fault. They were wrong, but I forgive them.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to find them and beat them up,
You don't hold a grudge against them.
Nah, it's just life. It's just something you have to learn from. And what chance would they have now against me?
No.
It would be a disaster.
Yeah.
I probably could find them, but there's no reason. It's like you just learn from this and you realize the situation I went through, and there's some accountability. Even though I was not in charge of the war, I understand how they felt, because maybe they had a cousin who died, or an uncle who died, or maybe their dad died.
Everyone has a reason.
Yeah.
Everyone has a reason. We can argue if the reason is valid or not, but everyone has their reason. But think of it this way: they gave you a gift.
Yeah.
They gave you a gift of.
You got tougher.
Yeah, you got tougher.
It's how you look at it,
and probably that sparked, the interest in learning about physical confrontation.
It is the reason. Actually,
Yeah.
You're right. I could look at it a different way and blame all my problems on, I had this childhood, and this was bad or something. I prefer to look at it like it made me stronger. You can become stronger for something or weaker from something. Anything. Even like if you break up with a girlfriend, you could let it kick your ass, or you can own the situation and be like, hey, I'm single now.
Yeah.
I'm free. Right on, man.
Right on.
Or you can be like, all sad about it.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone has a different way of dealing with things. There's not one perfect way that everyone's going to do one thing. It's impossible. Everyone has different personality, of course. But, yeah. I try to learn from my past and, want to become a stronger person. But, yeah, it was really serious fights. Sometimes it was like two kids want to fight me.
Yeah.
And I'd fight two guys. And then it was serious fights. Like one time, those like stone stairs? They have little metal in the middle.
Yeah.
And one time I had two boys, they were like 16, I was 14. They were smashing my head in these concrete stairs. And here got cut, and here was cut, and I was bleeding. Like my shirt was all covered with blood. I was just 14 years old, so it's a more serious fight than most people get in their life, you know. Really, I had
And
two
you
boys. No, I didn't beat them. They were older. They were 16. I was 14, and there were two of them. So,
But is that the reason you got into martial arts after that?
after that, or around that time, I wanted to learn how to fight for self-defense. That's true. For some reason, when I got into jiu-jitsu and sambo, it was making more sense to me, and that's where I focused my time in, basically. So yeah, it's the original reason, I would say. Yeah.
And now you have your gym in San Diego, Victory MMA, and actually your partner Jocko Willink, I'm a big fan of his. Hey Jocko, and
Jocko Willink.
how did you end up? How did you find him?
You have to call him Jacão.
Jacão.
He's Big Jocko.
The
Yeah,
Brazilian
he's
way.
he's my brother. He's cornered me in my fights. He's so disciplined. It's like sometimes he gets mad at me because I'm not as disciplined as him. You know, it's whatever. In my opinion, it's just everyone has a different way. You know, it's not the same thing. Is going to work for this musician and the other one. They do things different, but he's very disciplined. But he's my friend for 20 years, and he's the
Where did you meet him?
in San Diego.
yeah.
He was a Navy SEAL. He was a young guy. He was like old. I was like 19.
Was it through jiu-jitsu or?
Yeah, jiu-jitsu, yeah. He came in and just stayed with it. You know, he liked it right away. But yeah, he's very successful, and he's a very motivational person.
Yeah.
A very strong spirit, you know, he has, you know. He's not religious at all, but he's very he's very strong in spirit.
Yeah.
Whatever, you know. And he wakes up at 4 a.m. every morning. Wakes up, and I might wake up at 7 or 8 o'clock, you know. To him, that's lazy, but you know, maybe I'll start waking up at 4. Maybe I'll try. I'll try it out. But yeah, he's a maniac. He's super good at jiu-jitsu. He's technically very sound, and he's tough. He's super tough.
I can imagine he's really
tough.
tough.
He's the kind of guy like you could put him in an ice tank and throw rocks at him, and he'd just look at you like,
Is that what you got?
one more rock. Throw another rock. Go. I don't care. You know, he's a tough guy. Real tough guy. So yeah, and basically, being my main training partner, we come up with the style of my leg locks. He's a big part of it, actually, and he's a badass. And plus, imagine his history, what he's done. You know,
Yeah.
his SEAL platoon. I think they had like the highest kill counts of all the SEALs in Iraq. Like, it was just crazy. But he has great experience. He knows how to lead people, and his book is like one of the best sellers ever. You know how to lead people, and he's a motivational speaker. He's an awesome guy. So yeah, cheers to you, Jocko. Great guy, great friend, great brother, great brother. Yeah, absolutely.
And Jocko, if you ever come to Finland, I need to get you on the show.
You say ei vittu kau.
Ei vittu käy.
Ei vittu kau. No fucking way.
When you're training for fights, do you have any kind of special strength and conditioning routines you do, or do you just do more jiu-jitsu? Or
Yeah. I used to, when I was younger, do a lot more weights and strength conditioning, but now I keep it very simple. But for this last Abu Dhabi I'm going to do in Helsinki in September, I'm going to lift weights for 4 months and become stronger.
get strong?
Yeah. Because I'm strong already, but why not? I'll do it. I have 4 months. I'll do
Yeah.
it. So, and actually, Jocko is one of the guys who's like, you're crazy not to be lifting weights. I go, well, I'm already strong. He goes, yeah, I know you're strong, but
if you can be just
even
this
if
much
you
more
get
stronger,
the muscles just ready for,
Yeah.
you get in the weightlifting shape, Okay, so I'm gonna do it. I'll take Jocko's advice, and I will do it.
What kind of movements do you usually do? if
Well,
you-
always compound movements. So just doing that by
Yeah.
itself, it doesn't help you so much in
No.
sports. But doing like this stuff,
yeah.
right? Compound movements. We're using your chest, your shoulders, your arms, or your legs,
Using
your
your
ass.
body
yeah.
like a chain.
Compound, yeah.
Mm.
Simple movements. I'll do that. So I'll stay with those primarily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything you do for conditioning or the cardiovascular?
Conditioning, really,
Airdyne or
most
whatever?
of it should be just rolling hard for like an hour or new guys coming in here. That should be most of your conditioning. But running, of course, is good. Running on the beach on the sand is even harder. Is good. Running up hills is good. Pushing cars is good. But primarily, it's just doing the sport you're doing. If you're boxing, I mean, your conditioning should be punch, 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 move, punch, 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 move. Yeah, running will help, of course. Jumping rope is good. But if you can't throw a punch, 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 it doesn't matter. You have to throw punches, you know? So boxing, you have to throw a lot of punches. In jiu-jitsu or grappling, you have to be on the ground a lot,
Yeah, that's
moving,
true.
move. That's it. It's simple, but it works. So yeah, I've won 3 times world champion of Abu Dhabi. So yeah, that's how I always train. Simple. If you make it too complicated, it's a problem. You know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And that's how you're gonna prepare for the ADCC.
Yeah,
Worlds
but
this
I'm
year?
on the weights now. Also, yeah.
Good.
I will
Sounds
do it.
good.
Yes.
All right. I must say, Dean, it's been an honor. You're the most badass motherfucker I've had on the show.
No.
Yeah, you are. So it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for doing this. You are an alpha.
Sometimes, right?
Sometime.
No, always. Actually.
Stay alpha.
Kitos.
Kitos, Dean. And people, if they want to find you on social media, where can they follow you?
Instagram. It's I forget it actually. My Instagram. I don't know. Dean Lister MMA or something.
Dean Lister MMA.
But Facebook, whatever. I have to get better with the social media. But
anyway, there. And also, for you guys who watch me at Arttu Nyman on Instagram and Postland on Facebook, I don't remember all those, but I'm kind of the same as you. Thank you for watching. See you guys next time.
Kitos.
Kitos.